Now, after investigating sex trafficking in Ohio, Washington Bureau Chief Jacqueline Policastro returns to the D.C. area to find out what's being done about the problem at the national level.
Guys was approached left and right, and they're college guys, business guys. The creepy ones are the ones in the black, like sedans.
Andrea Powell is describing the men she says are buying sex from young girls. Powell is the head of Fair Girls, a D.C.-based nonprofit created to help sex trafficking victims.
It's modern-day slavery, and America has a bigger problem with that than it thinks it does.
It's a modest office, but a bright spot in what's become a dim world for thousands of children. Powell says most of the young girls she works with at Fair Girls were trafficked as soon as they left foster care.
Every child in that situation needs to have one loving, caring adult, and that person needs to follow them all the way through adulthood. Because what they're learning in the foster care system is that you are only as good as the check that comes with you. So they're already learning that they're a commodity.
Just a few miles away on Capitol Hill, Senator Rob Portman is working on new legislation aimed at better protecting missing children so they don't get involved in trafficking.
It's an issue where I think there's an exciting opportunity here to change the dynamic, to help save some of these kids, and to help stop this horrific practice that we see throughout our state.
If passed, the bill would require law enforcement to update missing children records, coordinate with child welfare systems, and allow state missing persons units to update information to a missing child entry in the National Crime Information Center.
Congressman Bob Latta is talking about sex trafficking too. He signed on to this letter asking Attorney General Eric Holder to shut down the online site Backpage.com, saying the site pulls in millions of dollars each year advertising children for sex services.
Back at Fair Girls, Powell scrolls through Backpage.com.
This is a pimp.
And tells me there are between 10 and 20,000 sex ads on the website every day. And victims tell Powell they're forced to have sex with up to 10 men each night.
People think sex trafficking is about sex. It's not about sex, it's about money and power. And if traffickers could traffic pink elephants, they would, if that made more money. They're trafficking women and girls because there's a demand for bot sex in America that's epidemic level.
That demand takes victims across state lines, which makes locating missing children quickly a priority shared by lawmakers and victims advocates like Powell.
We've had girls who've shown up here in Washington, D.C. from Ohio as well as Iowa and Michigan and all over the country, and they had no idea they're the nation's capital. And yet later when we drive them past, say, the White House, like, oh yeah, we saw that. They just really aren't aware of their surroundings at all. They're kids.
And at Fair Girls, those kids are rescued from a life of trafficking and given the chance to rebuild their lives. Reporting in Washington, Jacqueline Policastro, 13 ABC Action News.
And we'll be watching this new sex trafficking legislation closely as it moves through Congress, and of course continue to follow the progress being made to fight sex trafficking in our community.